Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I'm in Acapulco along the, I don't know what you call it. I don't know. That's where they park all the boats. I'm not a sea kind of guy, so I really don't know all the terminology. But it's talking about some of the businesses that I've been in or wanted to go in, and why I do this stuff is I learn. When I get into a business, I learn, and so as I learn, I can apply that knowledge to future endeavors. And one thing I never got involved in was boating. Other than, like I say, I was thinking about that riverboat. Other than that, but here they're really fixing this place up. It's going to be nice by the time they get done with this. But anyway, one of the things what made me start thinking about this, I wasn't going to make a number 2 on this, but what made me think about it, Mexico's known for the corruption, and I don't really want to say that this is the whole reason behind it, but it has something to do with it, and that's guns, owning guns, and we're not only owning guns, but knowing how they work. Personally, I've never had, I wouldn't mind living down here too. If I was older and I wasn't going to go anywhere, and I could make my life down here, especially by the time they get done with all this. I mean, electric bicycle or a little motor scooter, I could pretty much spend my final days in an atmosphere like this. But where I was going, I started training SWAT in the late 80s, and the way I got into that was nice buildings here. The way I got into that is I had paintball guns, and I bought some paintball guns. I think about a dozen or so, maybe 20. I don't know. It was a bunch. And to get my paintball guns paid for, I started a paintball company where we did paintball combat, and I got my guns paid for. No big deal. That's what I'm saying. I like to get myself into a business where either stuff I can get into it and I get the stuff, you know, or even if it doesn't pay for it, hey, I like having the stuff. So, but anyway, that particular business I made money on. And then I started the SWAT asked to borrow my gun so they can do some training, and that's how I got involved with them. And then from there, it just went on more and more. But also, after that, after I got started with them, I got a nightclub. And I don't know if I'd talk very much about that, but it's a big nightclub. It had 2 bars, dance floor. I think it was 350 seating. I mean, it was big. And one of the things that I was expecting, and it didn't happen, but in businesses, a lot of times you start a small business they're going to be putting pressure on you. People put pressure on you. And the reason I mention it is because I don't know if you saw when I first started the video, there was a couple cops. And I noticed they were going around here boat to boat. And that's what I saw. Now, they probably go into these businesses and stuff like that. If they don't now, they may not now because they're not no really functioning businesses here. But what's going to happen when they get gone, they'll come in and they will use extortion. You know, you have to pay them so you don't get victimized. In other words, they're going to victimize you, so you have to pay them so they won't victimize you. That's extortion, I think, something like that. But anyway, that's I was expecting that when I got this nightclub. The nightclub was it was a pretty fair type of business, and maybe I need to make a video one of these days about that nightclub. And but anyway, I was expecting somebody to come put the pressure on me, but they never did. And I am sure one of the reasons was I trained SWAT, and they pretty much knew I was active in this stuff. And then the next thing, people say, well, what qualifies you for doing that? And that was back Vietnam, and you know, this was after Vietnam, but I mean, it was enough knowing that I was still young enough where they knew, hey, he was still in Vietnam. And Vietnam folk are known to be a little different. And so that's what happened. Before the nightclub, I had another restaurant, and I never told the story on that. A couple of black guys come in to rob me on that. I stuck a gun in the guy's stomach, and anyway, that's a whole other story. I didn't shoot him, but that's because I'm a nice guy, and so he realized I was a nice guy. So the word was pretty much out that I don't victimize too well, and I think that's what happens down here. That's where all this is going about, is when you don't have guns and you don't use these guns, you don't have the abilities to do it, you're not spirited enough, then you're going to be taken advantage of. And that happens a lot, more than what you think. Most people, they have a job, so you're not really confronted with that type of stuff. But when you own a business, a lot of times they will be trying to put the pressure on you. And like I say, I've gone through it. Now it's funny, who's they? They is just simple people. Well, you know, you do it, you know, your place can burn up, you know, so, yeah, I mean, just, you know, gangs, you know, I mean, street gangs, they'll do that kind of crap. You know, they'll put their graffiti all over your place. There's things that they'll do. For me, I can't go into all the my tactics, but I avoid all that stuff. But at the same time, that's one of the reasons why I had to leave the United States. That it was I guess the gangs got me. And it was the government between government regulations, and I wouldn't apply, and leaving them with the only option of fining me, locking me up, you know, just doing all kinds of stuff like that. Okay, so that's what the only options I left them. Well, on the other side of the coin was they left me with no option other than destroy their SWAT when they decide they want to do something to me. So and my wife thought, you know, you're just one person. You can't fight the system, but I did for many years. But my wife decided she didn't want to do it anymore. She couldn't believe the kind of stuff that I would do. I had my tactics too. Like I say, I don't make a good victim. I don't care who you are. Whether we're on the street like this, in the car with some prostitutes, you know, or even government. I don't victimize well, and it's not like I'm talk. That's what I'm saying. I prepare. That means I practice. I've got the means. I've got the tactics, the knowledge. What's all in? These gals running around. But anyway. But I think the people that allow themselves to be victimized makes it harder for everybody else. And like I say, down here, they get victimized a lot. And then you're saying, well, you know, of course, you know, not much you can do when it's, you know, it's the government, the drug cartel and stuff like that. Well, that's your excuse to allow yourself to be victimized. Any excuse will work. The other side of the coin is prepare not to be victimized. That's another story. And that's why I have multiple businesses, because that's not being victimized like a particular person or gang or whatever's going to victimize me. But what happens is businesses do good and businesses die, like here. I'm sure if it wasn't the drug cartel down here, this place would really be a lot of people. But because people don't stand up, when you don't stand up, you're on your knees. You're on your knees, you're going to be victimized. I mean, that's just the way it is. And if you're going to go into business, you need to realize it's going to be tough. You need to prepare. And you need to be ready for anything that comes along. And I've applied that to my life. That's why I can do a lot of stuff that most people don't think is quite possible. But anyway, just wanted to share that with you. This Mike, NoStressMike.com. Time for me to party.